Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV Balloon Basics. We are joined once again by our very good friend, Mark from Qualatex. Mark, thank you for coming.
Great to be here.
And Mark is now, we've had a request from a few people actually, about how to inflate some of the more odd-shaped Qualatex balloons.
We don't make odd shape, we make speciality shaped balloons.
Speciality shaped balloons. Well, they're quite odd shaped. They're not normal shape, are they? Anyway, speciality shaped balloons, such as this. This is a 16-inch Geo donut.
Geo Blossom.
Geo Blossom, sorry. And the donut is the just normal round one. It's
it.
very similar, but this is obviously a bit more floral. And you've made a very nice flower out of that. Look at that. So that, and of course there is the very speciality shape, the Mickey Mouse.
Mouse head.
Mouse head, sorry, not Mickey Mouse. Are we allowed to say Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, you are.
Because you've got the license now, so I guess. So, yes, Mark's going to show us how to inflate these speciality shaped balloons. So Mark, over to you.
Okay, so basically if you think about the way that a sphere stretches, a sphere, it's always going to stretch at its easiest place.
Yeah.
So the bigger the part of the body that it stretches on, that's where it's going to stretch first. So when you're inflating, you've got to help it stretch into the other areas.
Okay.
So before you start with the mouse head, what I recommend you do is that you take the ears and you just stretch them all the way around the circumference of the ear. Be quite forceful, and that way you've just pre-stretched and made the mouse head a little bit easier for the balloon to be stretched where you want the inflation point to be stretched.
Just literally going around the edge and just stretching the edge of each ear.
And then when we inflate, pull the neck down, and as you start to inflate, you'll get one ear pop before the other, and then you continue to inflate, and then the size will even out.
I've never seen one of those inflated before. That was a little bit scary, Mark, I have to be honest. Particularly when you say the word pop.
Okay.
There you go.
And that's there. And you can go and play now, Greg.
That works very well. Thank you so much. Yes, I'll do that.
Skip away.
Let's put this. It's helium filled. Let's put this under the table. Right, now let's do the more complicated one. I'm assuming it's complicated.
I don't think it is once you get used to it. There are a few different methods of inflation.
Okay.
First of all, I'll just inflate without doing anything else. So you'll see what will happen. Okay? So if we just inflate straight away, the base of the balloon inflates first.
Yeah.
I'll do it quite slowly so you can see. So what's happening here is that this area is overstretching, and you can see it start to get thin.
Yeah.
So we can keep inflating this, but you'll get a slightly oddly shaped flower where the base, this first segment, is overstretched.
Okay, so that'll be bigger than the rest.
That'll be bigger than the rest. It'll also be weaker because it'll be stretched beyond where it needs to be.
Okay.
So what I recommend you do when you start to inflate is that as you start to inflate, you hold on to the bottom three segments and you restrict the stretch on those three segments.
Okay.
And then you start to inflate the top two.
So you're just releasing that slowly as it's inflating.
Just releasing it slowly. And then you get to the full inflation.
That's great.
Okay, so that's one way of doing it. I'll let this one down. The cheap method, which I do like.
Cheap or cheat?
Cheat. Is to take a Qualatex hand pump.
Yeah.
Stretch the centre.
Has it got to be a Qualatex hand pump?
It only works with a Qualatex hand pump.
I see. Okay, very good.
The diameter's perfect for this. If you stretch that round and make sure that that's on all the way,
yeah.
Now when you start to inflate, the air automatically circulates around a little bit easier.
Wow, that was simple.
And you get a much, much nicer inflation of the shape.
Yeah, that's great.
So how do we know that that's fully inflated? You're aiming for 16-inch diameter, so you could use your sizing box.
But that doesn't have a 16-inch hole.
It doesn't, but the outside diameter of the sizing box is exactly 16 inches.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Perfect.
There we
That's
go.
great. So the donut would be exactly the same as that. So you could use this for the donut as well.
Yep.
And you could just inflate it. How would you restrict it at the bottom like you restricted that one? Is it
Don't
exactly the same?
need to.
Okay.
And that's the air's been forced around the outside of the pump.
Yeah.
So the centre of the balloon is staying stationary, which forces the air to the weakest spot, which is around the outside, which means you get this beautiful even inflation all the way
But if you
around.
weren't to use the pump, would you still restrict it at the bottom when you're inflating it, or would it not
You'd
matter?
have to. You'd
Okay,
have.
that's
If
what
you don't use the pump to do that, you have to restrict.
So it's exactly the same
base.
technique.
Exactly the same technique. And then when you come to tie, you're going to struggle to tie the balloon through your arms in the normal manner. So what I recommend you do, again, scissor,
Yeah.
thumb onto forefingers, stretch the neck out, and then pass the neck to your little finger.
Yeah.
And then from the other side, grab hold of the neck, bring it back round, and then pass that between your thumb and forefinger, and that will tie off perfectly.
That's fantastic.
There you go, Greg.
Thank you very much. Well, there you go. There you have it. How to inflate Qualatex Speciality shaped balloons. Thanks, Mark.